Hey there, welcome in. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to do a love reading for anyone that is single. And this is a timeless tarot reading. So anytime you are catching this reading, it's the perfect time. So welcome in. Thanks for being here. And let's go ahead and get a love reading. So for anyone who is single and is wishing to or desiring to be in a relationship, let's see what's going on. All right, let's see where we're starting off. We're starting off with the Chariot in reverse. I love this Chariot card. I think it's really pretty. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot. Yes. Chariot in reverse. So this is the energy that you are currently holding in regards to being in a relationship. I do feel a little bit, maybe not fear. You're being very cautious. I think that that's smart. You're not interested in rushing into anything. I do feel that there are still some wounds here from a previous relationship. Most likely some trust issues coming up, but it feels like these are things you're working through. You're not avoiding them. You are not hiding from them. I think you are very aware of what this apprehension is that you might be feeling. But there's also an energy here of you are feeling ready for a relationship, even though you're feeling a little apprehensive. But there is still some stagnant energy here. So good to know where you're at. What is the question? What is the question in regards to being in a romantic relationship? I think you're smart to take it slow, and I think it's good to know where you're at. I think it's good to be very clear about what you want, what you don't want, all of that. I think that's really smart. Wow, Hermit card. So we're starting off with two major arcana cards here. So big issues, big things. This is the question. What are we asking here? Well, what I'm hearing is, am I ready to open my heart? Am I ready to share my heart with someone else? And you're the only one that can really answer that question, but we'll see how that unfolds in this reading. I love this version of the Hermit card. I think that's a really fun, this is a fun depiction of the Hermit. Are you ready to put yourself out there? And I do feel like, again, you've done a lot of soul searching. You have done a lot of reflection. You're not going into this blind, but there is a part of you, I think, because you have gone through some really challenging relationships. You've gone through some tough things, and you're on the other side of that, and you're feeling more confident. You have a better sense of who you are. And even though you are interested in being in a relationship, there's a part of you that's kind of like, well, I don't know that I want to turn my world upside down. Not saying that's going to happen, but I feel like that's part of the apprehension here, because you've got yourself in a good place. And I feel like you should always move forward into a relationship coming from a good place, coming from a place of knowing who you are, and you feel stable. It feels like you've done a lot of work to create a lot of stability in your life. So, there's always that that what if, that factor that until you bring another person into your life, you're just not quite sure what might happen. Totally understandable. So I do like that you are being very cautious. I think that that's smart. What else do we need to know about this Hermit energy? We've got the Son of Pentacles here. So we've got the Page of Pentacles. I feel like this is kind of going into that, you're curious yet apprehensive because how will a relationship benefit me, or is it going to throw a wrench into my routine? I feel like stability is a huge thing for you right now. So I would say keep in mind that you don't have to rush into anything. I would say that you are in a good place, though. If that helps to ease any of your fears or concerns, I feel like you are in a good place to go into a relationship. And again, you don't have to rush into anything, slow and steady. You don't need to rush into anything. And perhaps, I'm not quite sure why some of you might be feeling pressure to be in a relationship. If that makes you feel uneasy, I would listen to that and allow things to unfold as they unfold. I don't feel like there's a reason why you don't need to rush into anything. So and maybe it's an outside influence, and we'll see what comes up as we go along. I don't know if you're receiving pressure from an outside person, an outside influence that's adding pressure, causing you to feel like maybe you should be in a relationship. Maybe perhaps these are issues you're putting on yourself. You feel like you should be further along in life, or maybe you feel like that's the next step that you should take is to be in a relationship. And if that doesn't feel right to you, I would honor that. Let's look at the recent past here and see what's been going on. And I'm also wondering if there are other things that you are valuing more right now that are more important to you. So anything that brings you stability, you could be very focused on, your home, buying a home, creating a home, creating a stable environment. Perhaps you're just starting out in your career, so more of your focus and time is spent doing that. Perhaps you're going to school, and that's a huge focus. Maybe you're at a stage of your life where, you've had multiple relationships, or you had a steady relationship and now that person is gone for whatever reason. And maybe you're curious about exploring your life single at the stage of life that you're in. I would say take a look at whatever it is that you're prioritizing right now and what is most important to you, because I'm really kind of feeling like there's an energy here of either, I think for some, it's feeling pressure to be in a relationship. For others, I feel like you're curious about inviting someone into your life, but at the same time, you don't want to screw up the stability and the foundation that you have created for yourself. All right, so recent past. What do we need to know about the recent past? Let's take this one. Mother of Cups. So I'm looking at this reading from a relationship standpoint, focused on relationship. The energy that I'm feeling from this recent past, so looking at a recent past relationship, it didn't necessarily it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but I'm feeling a history or a theme of codependency here, maybe where you are more of the nurturing person. You probably went above and beyond for if this is representing a romantic relationship, you probably went above and beyond for that person, and it wasn't an even exchange of energy. But I just feel in general, you are probably the type of person that goes above and beyond for everybody. If someone is in your life and they are an important person to you, you know, you're going to do anything and everything for them. This is a really nurturing energy and it's really beautiful. I also feel like you often don't trust your guidance, your intuition. You override that a lot. So, you know, going forward, trust yourself and trust your intuition. If something feels off, you know, listen to that. So we have some major life themes here with this Hermit and the Chariot. Again, I really like that energy. You've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-reflection. You've put in a lot of work to getting yourself on track. Again, not that we're ever off track, but it certainly feels that way sometimes. Let's take a look at your mindset. What is going on in your mind? What is your mindset? We got the Moon, another major arcana card here in your mindset. Again, this kind of is going along with the conflicting energy I feel here, where there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to be in a relationship. For whatever reason, there's a lot of pressure here. Again, whether that's coming from you or outside environment, you know, people around you. Maybe it's when it comes to relationships, perhaps you're not really clear what it is that you want in a relationship, or if you even want one at this time. There's nothing wrong with that. And you don't have to rush into that either. Something to kind of keep in mind here, you could have in your mind, you're dreaming up the type of relationship that you want. Nothing wrong with that, but keep in mind that that isn't always how life plays out. So there could be some unrealistic expectations here, because the Moon does bring in kind of a daydreamy type of energy. That isn't always grounded in reality, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, this is your mindset. This is what is on your mind. And with the Moon, it's never super clear. There could be a lot of underlying emotions, subconscious things going on that you might not be aware of. I also wonder if I'm just going to throw this out there because it came to my mind. I'm also wondering if there's a part of you that is wanting to be in a relationship in order to escape something that you're currently going through. And that could be a really nice distraction for you. However, there's such an energy here of caution, wanting to move forward in a really grounded, present way, that I feel like getting into a relationship just for the sake of a distraction will undermine this desire for stability and continued stability. So that might not be the greatest way to move forward. And we'll see what else comes up here. I just want to look at these cards really quickly here. Okay. So we definitely do have a lot of water energy here, which is what you'd want to see in a love reading, you know, emotions, connection, deep desires. Let's look at the near future. Near future regarding a romantic relationship. What does this look like at this point in time? And keep in mind, energy is always shifting and moving. Energy never stays stagnant, not for long anyway. Things are always shifting and moving. Near future. Wow, look at that. You've got the Lovers card. So, I mean, that can't be any more clear. So near future, this could be a romantic relationship. I also feel from this a deep friendship, which is definitely something that you would want. I would think that you would want in a long-term romantic relationship. I think, in my own opinion, the best romantic relationships are the relationships that the person is your best friend, you know? Nice. So if you are wanting a relationship, you're excited for a relationship, you're ready for a relationship, the near future, there's a relationship here for you. And that's really beautiful. Lots of major arcana cards here. So there's a lot of things that are not necessarily in your control. I wouldn't force anything to happen. I would let things just play out. You keep living your life, doing your thing, and becoming just as healthy, happy, and joyful as possible, and you're going to attract the right person to you. So as far as like a timeline goes, I mean, timelines are constantly shifting and moving, but Gemini represents the Lovers card. So, you know, this could be a relationship that comes into being maybe around June. I'm also feeling May here. So whenever you're watching this, May or June. Let's get some advice here regarding what's going on here. Advice and guidance. Let's see what comes in. Advice and guidance. The other thing I'm feeling here is this does not feel like a superficial relationship. This does feel like a very deep relationship. This isn't a fling. Just wanted to put that out there before we got any further along. So we have the Five of Wands coming up. Interesting energy to be coming up. Advice and guidance. We've got the Five of Wands. You know, what I feel like this is tying into is if you're feeling pressure, whether this is pressure that you're putting on yourself or someone else is putting on you to be in a relationship, let that go. Don't just let that energy go. There's it almost kind of feels a little bit like competition here, like I'm feeling an urgency here to rush into a relationship. You don't need to do that. Take your time. And in fact, I don't even really feel like you need to do anything other than what you are doing now. Taking care of you, living your life, enjoying your life, you know, and things are going to fall into place. The advice here is, yeah, to avoid that competition or rushing into anything, feeling like you've got to prove yourself to somebody. Your value is not determined by the person that you're with. So if there could be some beliefs here that if you are not in a relationship or you're not married, that your value is less. There could be some wounding around that. So take a look at that, if that rings true for you. There's also something here, especially with all of this, you know, wanting stability, and you've created the stability for yourself and you're feeling safe in your life. Bringing a person into your life could, you know, create some instability. I feel like that's a fear that you might have. So, you know, take a look at that, because you can still have discipline and daily routine and be seen and be in a relationship and put yourself out there. You know, that is possible. Let's look at the outside influence. I'm really interested to see what comes up here. This could be other people. It's the environment around you. It's the energy around you. This is not something that you have control over, but it does influence you. So outside influences, what's going on here? We've got the Tower. What an interesting card to have here. Man, I feel like this could be a few different things. I do feel like this card is representing fears from past relationships, whether you are recently divorced or were in a long-term relationship and it fell apart. There are still fears here, like, well, what if I get in a relationship and that happens again? So I do feel like some of this energy around you are fears that maybe you're not aware of. And maybe you are aware of them and you are working through them. Perhaps some of you are watching people's relationships fall apart and you're just kind of like, yeah, I don't know that I want to do that again. This is why I'm single. I don't want to go through that. So some of you could be witnessing, you know, family, friends, you know, going through horrible breakups. Interesting. That's not the card that I thought would come up in the outside influences. But I can see how this energy of disruption, this energy of yeah, watching other people's lives fall apart. I can see how that could influence you into not wanting to be in a relationship, or maybe questioning, is it worth it to be in a relationship? That's an interesting energy here. There's a lot of major arcana cards coming up here. So these are huge energies. Let's look at your hopes and fears. Hopes and fears when it comes to being in a relationship. And I also want to say there's nothing wrong with being single. Hopes and fears. We have the Four of Pentacles coming up here. Hopes and fears. Yeah, so this is coming back to that control, needing to have that stability, needing to have that control, having financial stability. This feels like you are very, what I'm wondering here and what I'm feeling here with this card, and especially with this Mother of Cups energy in the recent past, I'm wondering if a fair amount of your money went to pay the debts of your partner. Maybe you were with someone who was really irresponsible when it came to money. Perhaps they put you in a financially dire situation. That could be playing a part of some of the fears that are coming in. You're not willing to do that. And again, I mean, totally valid. I get that. You don't have to rush into anything. I also think, you know, you don't have to repeat the same patterns that you've been in before. So if you were in an unhealthy relationship, you know, hopefully you've learned what was unhealthy about that, and you're not going to repeat those same patterns again. But hopes and fears, there are concerns here, and I'm going to say it's more with financial stuff. Financial stability is huge. If you are with someone who is not financially responsible, I think that's a deal breaker. And that's okay to have that as a deal breaker. I'm also feeling this isn't coming up as strong, but I do feel like someone watching this will be able to relate to this. There is some concern here about being controlled or having someone who is very possessive when it comes to money, and feeling like your freedom could be taken from you by the partner. I am feeling that here for some. So valid hopes and fears, you know, valid fears, valid concerns, and not, you know, you can work through that. And it's okay to have deal breakers too, you know? Potential outcome. What's the potential outcome of this soul connection, this relationship? And I think it's important that it is a soul connection. I feel like if you are connecting with someone and it is a soul connection, and you both have been, you know, doing your work, you're not going into the relationship blindly. I feel like a lot of these fears that you have won't be a reality. Potential outcome here. Potential outcome. We have the Father of Swords. Interesting. I did, my first initial feeling with this card was self-sabotage. And I think that's why it's really important not to rush into anything. Allow things to unfold. You don't need to rush into anything. You don't need to be in a relationship. If you are feeling like your guard is way up, your walls are way up, now's probably not the time to be in a relationship. However, you might feel very different about a relationship 6 months from now, a year from now. But it does feel like right now is probably not the time to be in a serious relationship. The Father of Swords, there is a coldness to this card, and there is a defensiveness to this card. There's a defensiveness here with that Chariot. There's a defensiveness here with this Four of Pentacles. Nothing wrong with that. I just think it's good to know that about yourself. I don't think now is the time to be in a relationship or to be searching or seeking that out. I would say keep moving forward, living your life, having a lot of fun, spending time with people that you value, doing things that you enjoy, and just trusting that that special person is going to come into your life when you are ready. I do want to pull a clarifier on this Father of Swords. I love that we have an owl representing wisdom, making smart choices, but it's very detached from the heart. The whole suit of swords can be very cold, and not feeling. So I'm wondering if there's a part of you that is just not open. I'm wondering if there's a part of you that isn't open to, or isn't ready to open your heart. Let's see. Let's use this deck here. And I'm also wondering, do you have some big goals that you are working on? Is there something that is taking up a lot of your time and your energy right now? And if so, I would say complete that before you are seeking another person. All right, let's see. Clarifier on this Father of Swords. Clarify this potential outcome here. Clarify this potential outcome. That's funny. We got another king here. We've got the King of Wands. What's really standing out to me is the map here on the back, the world here. I feel like this is showing two sides of you. Right now, you're showing you are in the energy of this King of Swords. You're making decisions from a very logical place of being, very rational. You are not necessarily connected to emotion or even really interested in being connected to emotions. Honestly, it feels to me like there isn't a space here for a romantic relationship. That's what I'm feeling here. However, there is one on the horizon when you are ready. And when you are ready, and I feel like this is a kind of a good thing to watch out for, you'll be feeling more like a King of Wands. So this is the energy of this Father of Swords. This feels not outgoing, very introverted type of energy here. So when you are in a place where you are feeling more outgoing, more warm, you're ready to put yourself out there, you're feeling very courageous. There could be even a part of you that, you're open to traveling. You're in a less rigid type of energy. You're more open to what's the word here? you're more like free-spirited. You're feeling a little more impulsive, but you also have the space to be impulsive. You have more time, you have more, there's more, just more room around you. I feel like you put your guard down, and you are just feeling very secure about yourself. I feel like you also have more confidence here, and you trust yourself more. You trust that you're going to make better decisions moving forward in a relationship. So when you start feeling more of this type of energy, I think that's a good sign that you are ready to be in a relationship, and you're probably closer to finding this soulmate. That's what I'm feeling here with that energy. Let's go ahead and finish off this reading with an oracle card. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one, I have links below. You could do a video type reading like this, but it's personalized to you and your questions, and we can dive deeper into what's going on with you, or we can do a one-on-one through Google Meet. All right, so final card. The card says Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. What I feel with this card where it says double mission, I feel like, and please take whatever meaning that you are getting from this, I feel like your focus right now is on your goals and your personal endeavors, and I feel like that's where that needs to be right now. That's where your focus needs to be. Interesting card. But it, you know, it's the energy of elevating yourself, getting yourself in a place where you feel safe, you feel more confident, and you will be able to put your guard down and open up. That King of Wands energy that we were talking about. All right, you guys, take care, and I will talk to you real soon.